way to flip it.
He seems to be missing.
The ancient people had those dumb because we're smarter than them.
Do we need to roll the cart back a little bit?
That would be the easiest way.
Yep. That is the easiest way. Just move it on back.
I think we actually are broadcasting.
Okay.
Bye. Okay, somebody log into the site and see if they're actually broadcasting.
Okay, yeah. Well, and I never see you when you
What's
solve
the
Yeah, some of the questions.
Go to you.
A lot less time.
Yeah.
what's the thingy for YouTube?
youtube.com.
Locally, we're broadcasting. Hi, welcome to the Baronial Glaedenfeld. Tonight is our hosting, which is a question and answer session with our baronial nominees for you.
Baronial Herald, isn't
Are you in
We'll pick on tribunals.
It's not a good idea right now.
Candidates, each couple will have 2 minutes to answer each question. You've already heard the order you'll be going in: William and Arwen, Corbin and Izzy. Excuse me, William and Juliana, Corbin and Izzy. Both of them songs. No, because I started going that. Tribunus is going to pick the questions for you. So we'll start with our first one.
it? You use your power cords.
Oh, this is one of the longer questions. This is question number 5. As the baronial seat, you'll have a lot of responsibilities. Leaders for the group alongside the administrative officers representing the group of the Crown and Kingdom, public face and theatrical entertainment at courts, emotional gauge of group health, etc. In addition to your own interests and regular life. Have you thought about how you will take care of your own well-being over the next 4 years? How will you handle stress? You need to step back for a moment for the possibility of burnout.
Okay, so we're first down.
Yes, you are.
There's a lot to unpack there, but it can be simplified in one word: boundaries. Yes, we want to do everything. Everybody wants to do everything. There are a lot of aspects to this position. And so what the very first thing we would do is address this on the front end, lay all that out, and set out the expectations of what we want to do and what is reasonable to do. We would also gather a staff around us. We would put in place a support system because we're going to need help. It's a lot of job. I don't drive. We have a small child. We have to ask for help. We have to have a support system. I'm forgetting something. I know I'm forgetting something. An important aspect of the boundaries is setting aside personal time for ourselves and for our family. Probably 1 weekend a month or an activity that we do together. But we want to serve the barony and not be martyrs to the barony. And that's an important part of preserving our health and our family. So, you got anything to add to that?
No, you covered it. I like it.
All right.
Well, first of all, forgive my voice because I'm fighting a bit of cold. So if you can't hear me, let me know. I'm always really careful to know when I need to step back from something. I do have other interests. If I need to take the weekend to go do something else, I'm sure everyone would understand that. Is it okay, everyone?
Yeah.
Oh,
Should be okay.
Okay. We have handled some stressful situations in the SCA before, and also in the daily life, and I think we came through those okay for the most part. Yeah, burnout's always a possibility. I'm willing to listen if someone says, "Hey, you kind of seem like you're a little burnt out there. Maybe take a step back." Like she said, a support system, and you know, we've been at this a long time, so burnout's a thing. You just have to be careful of it.
There's this magic little word. It took me a long time to learn how to say it. I'm a pelican. It's the word no. You have to recognize the fact when you are burnt out or when you're approaching that point. And not be afraid to say, you know what, I really can't do ANS tonight. I had a really bad day at work. And go home, prop your feet up, put your favorite movie in, and do nothing but veg. And that's something that I think Dee and I have worked on a lot the last couple of years. So that's something that we try to focus on, other interests, things to stress relief.
Sure. You want to answer this or do you want? Oh, okay. First of all, what they brought up is very much the way we feel as well. We've got to create the boundaries. We've got to be able to lean on people within the barony to help you with the things that you're not able to take care of or even help you. And the third thing is to recognize in ourselves what our strengths and weaknesses are and pull on each other's strengths, because there's things that you can do that I can't, and I can do, you can't. And to be able to kind of toss responsibilities against each other as well as the members of the barony. I think that it's really important that to recognize that now we can be having the responsibility for just as much everyone else's as well. And that's one of our goals, is to be able to put in your strength as well. So he and I are just kind of coming off a little bit of a burnout. It is important to step back, and you need to step back. It's important to recognize that and ask for help if you need it. And people are people. You have to do everything.
I wasn't going to use the same word Izzy was. I have completely the ability to say bugger off. I have no problem saying this is enough, and also not just for myself but others. We have time and time again gotten to points where we've had to say stop, maybe not address the letter of the law of something, but the meaning and the feeling behind it. So putting the stops on something and causing it until emotions can calm down until those are completely within their capability.
Julie, next one. This is question number 6. What is a time when you didn't follow through on a commitment or responsibility? How did you handle that situation, and what would you do differently now?
All right, so this is kind of a tough question to answer because you don't ever want to admit to not being perfect. However, I'm not perfect. I have been the web minister of the barony for several years, and during that time it has been my responsibility to create event pages for our upcoming events and to update them, keep them, all the right information on them. And several times, due to work, life, and in the worst case, once or twice, just completely forgot. I didn't get that done. Didn't get the websites posted, didn't get them updated. But in every case, I apologize, because that's one of the first things that you have to do is, hey, my fault, I did it, I'm sorry. And I fixed it as soon as I could. And leading on from that, it's never, ever going to be my goal to forget something that I need to do as Baron of this barony. But it's going to happen. And if it does, that's exactly what we'll do. I'll apologize, we'll deal with it, and we'll fix it. And we'll continue on.
So we decided we'd both answer this one.
Mm-hmm.
We have different areas where we have followed through on commitments because we have different failings. I actually balance that failing for him a fair amount.
Mm-hmm.
He balances my failing a fair amount, which is to misjudge the number of commitments that I am piling on top. So it is very important to me as I take this job not to take other things with it but I don't do that well. And most places where I fall into one commitment, it is because I've misjudged how far in I am in on too many things. That
Next time.
Stop. Never mind. Talk too long.
Sorry.
Communication. That's where I'm going.
There was a time where I had told the upcoming incoming crown that I would do some embroidery for them. And things got really crazy at school, and my free time got no. And I realized I could do one of two things. I could throw something together really quickly, and it looked awful. This was for her coronation garment. Or I could call her and tell her, I am not going to be able to do this. I opted for the second choice. I called up the princess and I said, I know you wanted me to do this. I can't give it the treatment and the just effort that it deserves. And she told me, she says, don't worry about it. We have extra people. We handed things out more than we needed. You're fine. And I was very upset about it because I'm old school. If I say I'm going to commit to something, I'm going to do it. And it goes back to that time management. I think if I did anything different, it would be my time management. I didn't do a very good job.
I was a secretary for the Meridian Order of the Glade for about a year and a half. And at one point during that, there was a very important meeting in the Fighters Collegium. And I had a family emergency. Nobody could help that, but I missed the meeting. I did set up a replacement. It was kind of rushed. And there was some confusion, and there was some concern, and there were some complaints about the fact that I wasn't there. I think it kind of tarnished my whole tenure as secretary for some reason, but that's how I felt anyway. I feel like I could have communicated better with my replacement, organized things better for them. But that is what it is. So I feel bad about having to miss stuff like that.
Yep.
I was kind of watching it. So.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I've made a lot of mistakes in the past. I've followed through because, case in point, sometimes you allow yourself to keep raising your arms and you over volunteer, and I have a feeling that's probably going to happen. It's going to happen, and it's easy to do because you want to do all the things and help all the people, and so I'm hoping that I will be able to rein that in a little bit and not over volunteer and hopefully call on other people to help me and not make those same mistakes. But yeah, we're all human. We tend to do that. And I think the biggest thing to learn from that is to admit that you've made a mistake and ask for help or call on other people.
As everyone here says, ownership. We've probably had interaction with everybody in this crowd at one time or another where made a promise, tried to do something. It didn't happen for whatever reason. Own it, learn from it, move on. On a bigger scale, probably one of the largest failures I've had with this group was while being the holding the Shire's property, it got stolen. $1,000 worth of, about $10,000 worth of equipment gone 36 hours before an event. The bylaws that we had set up didn't cover the situation. Tried to meet the laws as much as possible, respect as many of the officers as possible, and fix the issue. Griff and I got together, pulled money out of our pocket, went out, got what was needed to handle the event. With that money and the other group's help, we had a great event. All you can do is own the mistakes and go on.
All right. Peter.
The other people.
The other Peter. Thank you. Okay, this is question number 1. As a leader, will you treat everyone equally, with equal dignity and respect, with equal acceptance, forsaking any personal agenda or bias in order to hold to an honorable and true path to show an open and welcoming spirit and a place at a table for all who come to it.
So this is an easy question. Yes, we will, with an open mind to the best of our abilities. This is a safe community for all, and we will maintain that safety. Whether we hold the baronage or not, we will work toward that. But definitely, if we sit in the baronial seats, we will work even more towards that.
Expound on it.
Feel free.
Being fair does not always mean giving everybody what they want. It means considering the needs of the entire community and all members of it, and acknowledging that everyone has a space to belong and be respectful of all members. We will do our best to be as equitable and thoughtful in our judgment as possible. Good.
Everybody is entitled to respect and courtesy, regardless of who your Jew is. Here, not here, newbie, somebody that's been playing for 20 years. It's part of what the society is founded on. Each person should be allowed an opportunity to participate in a hobby. And as far as I'm concerned, that opportunity will be given here in Glaedenfeld, regardless of who is grandparents.
To be honest, fairness is really important to me. Treating people in situations fairly, being unbiased, that's just part of my nature. I mean, unfairness really makes me angry. So that being said, treating people with fairness, giving them the opportunity to play and participate, that's where everything starts. We always got to come at it from that perspective first. Regardless of how I feel about a person individually, though, we do have to look at the whole barony. We have to look at the health and be fair to the barony. I mean, there are a lot of people here to count on us, and letting a single destructive or toxic individual run wild is not fair. That's not fair to the group. So while everyone should be treated with tolerance, with respect, with courtesy, we do have to look to the health of the group as a safe place. So I don't want to see the group be disrupted by a single person to try and be fair to that person and let the group suffer for it. That's not right. So.
Again, sentiments are very along the line. My knee-jerk reaction is, of course, hearth and home, openness, friendliness, respect for each other is one of the standing points of our barony. I think that everyone should feel that way. And again, without taking and crossing over personal boundaries, because there's times when we as Baron and Baroness Hospital are going to need personal space or our personal time in our household or our family. But other than that, yes, of course, the barony should always be open and welcoming to safely always be. And as Corbin mentioned, there have been issues in the past where people have kind of come in and been about it. I think the important thing is what is just for the health and well-being of everyone in the barony. What is just for everyone to be able to play the way they want to play. And that's the important thing is to recognize and to work within the offices of this group, because we have a senator, we have officers in this group to work with to make sure that everyone's allowed to play fair.
I think the important parts of this question is maintaining a welcoming environment in the group. That's something we've always done. I want to keep that up. I want to be known as a group that welcomes anyone walking in the door. The word justice I would replace fair with, because fair can mean different things to different people, but justice and being just, not just justice, but being just. People that come in that strive, we need to perpetuate that. People that come in that have less than that, let's provide happy spots. Let's try to do our best we can with it. Let's try to be just and give people what is needed to succeed.
This is question number 14. What is your plan to grow Glaedenfeld's membership numbers? Are there any other specific areas of growth you would like to encourage?
So we're actually having slow, steady, pretty successful growth. I think we can do more of what we have been doing, things to have us more of a public presence that reaches outside the SCA. We do that some with demos, positive relationships with other entities in the national area. I'd love to see us brainstorming some of that. An area that I would like us as a barony to really work on more. We get lots of people checking us out. How do we retain them? How do we bring them in, get them connected with how we communicate, help them find a place in a niche? Cynthia has been a wonderful ambassador for that. I'd like to bring that to do that functionally more in a more organized manner and more consciously as a barony. Okay, do you want to add anything to it?
No, I was just letting you know.
Oh, do you have anything to it?
No, in short, just public presence, demos, and clarify who's in charge of each aspect of communicating with new people so that we have a defined way to connect people with the rest of the barony, get them hooked up with communications, with activities, and encourage people out to more than just, say, a business people or a fighter practice.
I thought long and hard about this. And one of the things that I have come up with is something that other groups are doing. We're known as the Athens of the South. Not just because we have a nice Parthenon in the middle of town, but because we have so many universities. I think that we have an untapped resource that we might need to look into. Contact history departments. See if maybe we can't set up some kind of introduction to what the SCA is. Try to appeal to a younger crowd. Because my knee tells me every day we're not getting young. It is one of those things that I think that we need to look at doing. We've got a couple of other groups that have very successful college groups that they contribute to their barony or their shire. I think that's something that we can look at, and maybe those of us that have more experience can bring in some of the younger people. What happens if they go away? What happens when they leave? Then we make sure that they're set up in the SCA no matter where they've been. We're wanting to create members for life. But that is kind of one of the things that I had thought about doing.
Just live the dream, do it visibly, be out there, show people what we do, just make it look like something people want to do. There are kind of a couple of aspects to it that I don't really have time to go into what I actually have here, but there's another question similar to that one. If we get to that, I'll expound on that a little more, but just be the people that you would have wanted to see when you joined the SCA. Be those people, all of us, not just the parent barons.
Okay, my answer is fairly simple because I'm a simple person. Keep it fun. What brings people to the SCA? It's fun. Make it fun for people, make it welcoming, show them when somebody walks in the door, hey, how you doing? And what can we do to help you find happiness? The society is one of the happiest things that I have ever come in contact with, period. I want to show every person walking in the door the happiness that I found from the society. That's what will keep people in, and it's looking at that person and figuring out what it is to help them enjoy the society. Not my version of the society, not their version of the society or their version of the society. All of these ideas are great, and we make all of it fun. That's what's going to get people in the door and keep people in the door. We make it fun. If we're having fun, we help other people have fun. That's my.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we've had people kind of come in and then they kind of disappear. And kind of my thought process is, what are we doing to retain these people? You know, and I'm guilty of it myself. Sometimes I kind of get involved in my own things and I kind of forget that I still need to reach out and bring fun to those people and draw them in, try to help them get started. Maybe they've got roadblocks, maybe they're, you know, they need more help with GAR, maybe they need more help with, you know, understanding, getting to events, being willing to, you know, offer carpooling. So sometimes I feel like sometimes we do okay with recruitment. We, you know, get out and talk to people, go to conventions, schools, but I think the key is retaining, making sure we are still walking. All those methods. All
Karen. Sorry, you get one. I don't claim which one it's going to be.
It's okay.
Question number 9. Do you anticipate any difficulties with taking time off of work to attend baronial meetings or taking a Friday off to attend far-flung events? Do you anticipate a job change in the next 4 years that could change your responses?
All right, this is easy. No and no. Arwen has been at her job for
It'd be 12 years. in
12
October.
years. And I just got a new job with the state, which is going very well. We're both going to be in, well, she's already in a position, and I'm very shortly going to be in a position where taking time off is not going to be a big issue. And, you know, we're stable, we're steady. That won't be an issue.
Anything unforeseen.
Yes, barring medical,
But
family,
that's
whatever.
unforeseen.
Right.
You can't predict that. We're in a stable life position at this moment.
Right. Finally.
Oh, we were not this spring when he had Schrodinger's job. We're so happy that that's passed.
Right.
For me as a school teacher, it's a little harder to pick up on Fridays.
Oh, yeah.
We've actually gotten emails during the middle of the year from central office telling us you can no longer take Fridays off. That being said, probably we could get away with a half of it. But I also have the benefit of having a summer, fall break, spring break, and other breaks that other people don't necessarily have that give me an opportunity to say, hey, let's throw our stuff in the car and go down to the Panhandle.
Fortunately, my schedule tends to be fairly flexible. I work in IT. I can work remotely. If I have to work from my hotel room on a Friday night before an event, I can do that. I've been on my job almost 14 years. It's been a while. I do have a fair amount of time off. So, and my bosses are pretty forgiving. So I tend to get the time I need to do what I need to do.
So, I have a fairly stable job, and, you know, flexible times, yeah, so, no worries here. You know, so-and-so's had, you know, his job, but, you know, it's not been causing any problems so far.
My present job as industrial maintenance does have the caveat that if equipment's down, I'm one of the people that does have to be there to get things fixed. In the immediate future, they're wanting to move me over to a weekend shift, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday shift. But my employment has a very simple ability to take days off. I have multiple people that can cover for me. Fridays and Saturdays are much easier to get freed up for me to be able to attend events. And the other end of it is that the only change will be getting off of that shift, because the same things that I need to have a healthy life would be the same things to support the society. And I actually see that the weekend shift may not last very long. So for all intents and purposes, I think the job will support, my job will support our society, and it will also create the ability for my life to support happiness.
This is question number 7. Do you plan to have a theme for your time on the baronial thrones?
me, I just can't even remind myself what I was going to talk about. We think it's really important, actually. We're talking about a theme as in time period, culture, all of that. We don't want to tie ourselves to one because it's very important to celebrate and encourage all the different areas that the members of our barony are encouraging and participating in. So we get this, we'll probably have quite an impressive closet of different time periods so we can support the things that are chosen for various events, the various other areas that people explore, learn about what you guys are doing and interested in. If there's anything, it's Glaedenfeld's awesome. But I don't want to tie us too closely to anything because we want to celebrate all the many varied areas that everybody out there is doing.
I was just going to add that we really want to encourage the group to explore different time periods and cultures and to run events that, you know, we've been doing a pretty good job of it, where Iris Fair is one theme, and then our winter event is another theme, and then, you know, if we run another event in the middle of the year, it's another theme. We've been doing really good with that, and we want to encourage more of that. So we're not going to try and tie the group down to one time period or culture.
I also don't want to create an environment where someone feels that they are
Limited.
or what they're doing is not
Yes.
working. So make this work. Yeah.
Late period French. That being said, would we make everybody in here do late period? No. Y'all gotta do, you play your SCF. Okay. Now, that being said, we did kind of talk a little bit about maybe buying everybody some green and gold stripy socks. Stripy socks. But, you know, it's one of those things that we're not going to force everybody to be late period French.
I mean, we kind of have a reputation. I mean, we look good.
Can't deny it.
Well, we're more comfortable in late period than we would be in anything else. We have done other things. We've done some Roman. We've done some Templar. If an event theme doesn't have a strong theme for an event, I can see us doing something else. And certainly we're not going to tie the group down to anything, to a period or any type of dress or anything like that. You know, our courts, generally speaking, we're probably going to be in our late period stuff. Our entourage, it's an acronym. Who cares? I mean, you can do anything you want, creative, you know. So no, we're not going to force the group into a theme just because of us being late period.
Lots of fun, good shtick.
Yes.
Actually, to answer this, we do have a intent of a focus on a reign overall. Griff and Steph has done an excellent job of setting the barony, the baron and baroness scene in the kingdom. What we want to do is now fill that out, not just the head, but the body of the barony. We want the barony to show up at events. So our focus is to maintain the watermark that they put with the figurehead being there, but bring the focus on the group and the body of Glaedenfeld. Have something for all the individuals to feel a place to walk into and show the entire kingdom, the entire known world. The barony of Glaedenfeld is here. So in a big way, our focus will be a lot on the group, a lot on the presence of the group, so that no one will ever say Glaedenfeld doesn't travel, because they'll see the colors, they'll see the pageantry, the presence, the everything. That's really kind of one of the forms that we want to do as a whole. And again, just like everyone else here is saying, folks, everyone here can handle this job. Period. Yep. Everyone here is a good choice. Yep. Okay. So, ditto. We're not gonna hold anybody
We're
to-
not doing life period French.
Not everybody has.
But now late period German. Nah.
Yes,
That's it.
Oh, you want me to wear landscape?
I think she wants hot shorts.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Our girls call Sunday great for women's connect.
Yeah.
I need hot shorts.
Question number 19.
Oh, wow.
Our current Baron and Baroness will leave big shoes to fill. Would you seek advice from them?
Okay. Now, I thought about this for a while, and I decided I was trying to decide whether to go funny or serious. And in the end, I decided I'm going to go with serious. Yes, absolutely. Griff and Steph are very wise people. They've been in the SCA for a very long time. They have so much knowledge in their heads. It would be foolish to discount their advice. Now, would we, take their advice as gospel? No, not necessarily. We would talk to them, get their advice. We would talk to other people in the group and get their advice. But, Griff and Steph, their advice would weigh pretty heavily because of their experience and their knowledge and their wisdom. But on the whole, yes, we'll listen to them. No, we won't let them dictate.
One of the advantages of our group is a lot of experience, which helps. No leader is ever going to be an island, is ever going to be able to, is always going to need a sounding board. We'd be foolish to discount them. As he said, we also have to be our own people. So we take that advice, we take their viewpoint coming from a place of more experience. We don't always sit, we talk with others, and then make our own decision. But you don't discount expertise.
I have had the advantage of being a former associate. I still go to them for advice. As they said before, it would be foolish to not take advantage of experience that's already been there. That being said, it doesn't mean that we're going to try and emulate them 100%. We would establish our own ideas and concepts based on the foundation that presented. And we would go to them for advice, but we go to several people for advice, not just one public.
I would not presume to try to fill your shoes. I mean, look at the size of those feet. Okay. Seriously though, yes. I mean, obviously, why wouldn't we? I mean, everybody's pretty much said it. You want the experience. You want the viewpoint of people who have already done the job. And not just Griff and Steph, but other barons and baronesses in the kingdom. People that we know that held the office in other groups. But particularly Griff and Steph because they've done it here. And they know Glaedenfeld. So yeah, I gotta agree with everybody else. It would be stupid not to take advice from people who've done it.
Yeah. I'll take any advice I can get. Staff, and they'll admit, I mean, there's more than one way to herd a bunch of cats. And, there's no right way, there's no wrong way. And pulling, anytime you're in a leadership type of position, you're foolish not to take advice that you can get. So you can, try to come up with the best way. At the same time, it's really important to keep individualistic. I don't think any of us ever going to try to emulate a Griff and Steph show because,
That's really not them.
but what I think we can do is take from their experience and from what they've done and try to emulate all the great stuff they did and enhance it or try to excel it and make it better and make it our own.
I listened to a talking dog at the gate good advice. And I have. By that same instance, Griff and Steph, they are good people to get advice from. Again, there's other people to talk to. Yes, they're a source. They're always going to be supporting the barony. These folks here, when we get it, pretty sure these folks are going to be talked to. But folks out here in the audience, folks on the other end of that camera. Yep. Good advice is good advice.
Cynthia, that's a very smart guy.
I can wish you a good break.
Okay, question number 11. Is there ever a time to give a knee-jerk answer? Is there ever a time to be rude?
Okay, in short, no. There are times to be decisive and assertive, but there's always space and time to do that politely. Being rude, knee-jerk reaction, serves no purpose except to put somebody's back up, and it shows a lack of respect. And that's one thing that we as a couple, we refuse to do. We're not going to disrespect you just because, maybe you put out a suggestion that wasn't the greatest. We're not going to say, oh, that was stupid. No, we're going to respect your opinion, and we're going to talk with you about your opinion. And, maybe you'll teach us something, and that'll be awesome.
As Izzy said earlier, hallmarks of the society, courtesy and respect.
Exactly.
And as far as the reaction, thinking before you act so that you act wisely.
Exactly.
There are times when it's very silly to do that. But knee-jerk reaction and rudeness typically causes more harm than good. Again, we're not afraid to be assertive or decisive or firm, but we don't want to be jerks or thoughtless. So, no. We're good. We're done.
I'm going to go in the opposite direction because I do think there are certain situations where knee-jerk reaction is needed. I don't have to be rude about it, but I have been known to give a knee-jerk reaction before. I had a gentleman in the society make a comment that had some heavy sexual innuendo. I just flat looked at him and said, I'm not that kind of girl. And the people that I was with laughed. It was a knee-jerk reaction. It was a knee-jerk comment. But my response was not, I could have yelled, screamed, and hollered at him. It was just like, no, that's not who I am. And I walked away. There are certain situations that are going to require knee-jerk reaction. But you should be in control of yourself enough to not be able to.
Sometimes decisions do have to be made quickly. Responses have to be given quickly. Okay? I see that more as thinking on your feet, really, than knee-jerk. But intentional rudeness is not acceptable. Just don't be a jerk. Why would you do that, right? If you do give offense, if you're unintentionally rude, you stumble into a social situation that you're just not sure how to handle it, and you come off as rude, apologize. Just don't be that person. Accept the fact that we all screw up sometimes. I might say something off the cuff, comes across wrong, and tell me, and I'll say I'm sorry, because I don't want to be that person. So no, rudeness is not acceptable.
I'll for one say that I'm human and I make mistakes, and I'll probably say something rude unintentionally. I'm the kind of person that I really generally don't intend to hurt anyone. And if I do, I hope people bring it up to me and mention it so that I have the chance to apologize. But I think being conscious of being respectful to other people is foremost in my mind. And that's my intention, is to try to be thoughtful and innocent and try to be conscientious of other people's feelings. And if I do mess up, to apologize and try to make it right.
To take advice of a former king of Chickasaw and a baron and my knight, always say no. It's easier to turn around and say yes after saying no than it is to say no after saying yes. To go by an earlier question, let's go back to just for a moment. Rudeness for rudeness' sake? No, I don't believe in that. But can I be cold? If the situation is just where cold is expected, yes, I can be. If it takes being cold to protect this group, I can be cold. If this group is being treated rudely, I'm much more likely to be rude. But I always want to be just. I will not be rude for rudeness' sake. But if rude is what it needs to be to protect a person in this room, a person on the other end of that camera, part of this group, part of the society, I'm not going to say people won't expect some of my actions. Could easily describe some of my actions as being rude. But just is what I'll go with.
The car. Take a question.
For you coming in late.
Thank you.
No, he came in at the right time.
Perfect timing. All right, this is number 21. Do you support the Order of Valiance or a new peerage? Why or why not?
So, we discussed this at length. And this is a case where our feelings as individuals and how they should be expressed, and our feelings in a place of leadership as the Baron and Baroness and how that should be expressed are different. We are not going to state a support or a not support, even though the question has asked it for this, because issues of this type, what the bond needs as the decision-making entity is to reflect the society as a whole. That means all the individuals. Our responsibility as Baron and Baroness is not to champion either way, and because we don't get to say the Barony of Glaedenfeld wants you to do this. Our responsibility to you as the populace is to be sure that you have the tools to find the information to make your own choice and know how to express that to the body, because the opinion of every individual here is what is needed. And we feel that that is our responsibility to you in this leadership role. To express support or not is to unduly influence you, and we feel that would be inappropriate. Anything to add?
No, just that there's plenty of information out there. Cynthia DuPont has made it readily available. She posts it quite often, actually. Go read about it. There's some really good information in there. Read about it, make up your mind, write the Bob. Tell the Bob what you think.
Well, it is something that the body will eventually decide. It's not something that does apply to Baronial level. We would certainly encourage those members who want to see that happen to get involved, to become involved in all aspects of the society. Make your activities the best they can be. Make it worth a peerage. But again, that's not something that if we were Baron and Baroness, we couldn't necessarily speak to our own feelings on that, because we don't want to influence people. And like they said, it's something the body will decide. The path to peerage is, we can speak to that with some experience. The path to peerage is can be a rough one. But we do encourage people to take an interest in what they want to see happen in the SCA and work for that.
We know a little bit about a new peerage.
Yeah, we do.
Being Masters of Defense, we have lived that new path. In an official capacity, no, we could not indicate one or the other. But we could encourage, we could help others that want that path, give them advice, talk to them about some ways to get the body to listen to you as individuals, not as the Baron and Baroness. My advice to you right now is not even get on and point out that be the peer that you want people to recognize. It doesn't matter whether there's a peer there or not. Be that peer. Recognition.
He and I talked about it in length, and, you know, we, both have personal opinions about the order of finance. And, but we also discuss as a seated baron, landed baron, baroness, as William Darwin, Juliana brought up, and as, Izzy and, Courtney brought up, as a seated baronial, position, you cannot express a personal opinion like that because it does unduly influence people. Because you don't want to already instill something that you believe in to somebody else. Because we believe the barony should be able to, individuals of this barony should make up their own minds and their own thoughts about and reach out to God as is their right. We also feel it's inappropriate for the barony to have a stance, as the seated baron and baroness, to have a stance on something like this because, again, it will, particularly other people who don't feel the same way, feeling left out. Or it would just wouldn't be even a fair, just thing to the barony.
So as individuals, we can't really tell the barony, but if the barony tells us, or any of these folks, what the barony wants, these people will follow. So the barony has to tell us, what do you want us to do? What do you want us to champion? We'll be those champions. On a personal level, want to talk to us about our personal beliefs? I will support any. I will support a peerage for burping the alphabet after beer if it shows the number, brings the people, and upholds the concepts of honoring children.
You just broke my life, thank you.
Not the first time, won't be the last. Yep.
All right, next up. Question number 18.
18.
What are your plans for the Canton of Southreach?
That was me. Okay, so we haven't read one of the other questions or answered one of the other questions yet, but this kind of built on that. So our job as the barony that canton that is responsible for that canton, our job is to make sure that they grow and that they thrive. Now, our job, were we to get the baronial seat, would be to discuss with their leadership and determine what they want for themselves. And then, from there, let's work on it. What do we need to do as a group to help them get what they want done, accomplished? So basically, it would start with communication.
We want them to thrive. Right now, we don't know what that means until we personally have a sit down with some of the leadership over there and say, hey, what's the goal? And then we figure out from there how we support them.
Right.
I don't think it's fair of us to answer that with, we've got all these plans without opening that discussion with them. And we haven't done that yet. Were we to get denied? One of the first things we would be doing on the list.
Yes.
Ultimately, every barony that has a canton wants one thing for their canton, and that's the status of shire. They're their own independent vote. As baron and baroness, we would be responsible for that attainment of that status. Now, how do you do that? You support them. You go to their demos. You go to their practices. You invite them to come up here. You interact with their populace as much as possible. You sit down with populace and leadership and brainstorm. What can we do as a barony to help you? What are your goals? What obviously they want to do shire, but do you have any idea on how to get from canton to shire? And then it would be up to the members of the barony, not just the baron and baroness, to help them achieve that status.
My plans for the canton are both diabolical and multifaceted. They're very hard. You might plot to take over the whole world.
I knew it.
Yeah. We just. We really want to see them grow, obviously. We want to stand on their own at some point. We've actually already, we've already managed to get them a rapier marshal. And so that they can start building that rapier program down there. We've had them come up here to our practices. We plan on going down there to some of their stuff, hopefully in the next month or so. But just really interact with the people, support them, help them how we can.
And to mirror everybody else's, to reach out to them, ask them what they need, and just provide the resources that they need to build and grow. And, you know, pull our people in, go to their meetings, interact with them, invite them to everything that we do. You know, hopefully get to everything they do. You know, make it so.
We were challenged when we became a barony to show, to be a barony and what the society uses baronies for. Baronies are supposed to help groups grow. So, you know, talk to them, find out what they need to grow, which direction do they want to go, and help them with the tools and explain all the stuff we've screwed up. Explain, hopefully they'll not make the same mistakes we made. Get our peers to go down there and help with those sort of things. Teach. Make it fun.
Give them the tools to be independent, because honestly, they have to build their group. And we're here as a resource. And, you know, I think it's really important that to teach and learn, you know, give them the strengths and tools that they need to stand on their own. Basically.
This is number 8. When the group began the baronial process, there was a lot of enthusiasm and support for the pomp and pageantry of a baronial presence, entourage, banners, etc., which then fell off after a few months as the group experienced the work involved. What are your thoughts on how the barony presents itself? Pomp and pageantry or laid back and fun? How will you work to bring this about?
All right, so we are a naturally laid back group. We have been since I got into this group 10, 11 years ago. Arwen and I, Juliana and I, we don't want to stifle that. We want to actually encourage that because it's a lot of fun. We do, however, want to be able to pull out the schmancy when we need it. So we want to maintain the laid back feel that we have, but we also want to encourage gathering together to work on creating the things that we need for occasional fun. You know, we don't want to go overboard. But we want to use that as a way to encourage camaraderie between the different groups within the barony. That we have some groups that kind of hang out separately without a lot of crossover. And we want to encourage some crossover there. So we, you know, have people from, say, the sewing circle that get to spend more time with the fighters. People from the archery who get to spend more time with other groups. But we do want to have, we want to have enjoyable and maybe even silly pomp and not stuffy pomp.
Something we talked about a lot was, what is the purpose of pomp? Because it's more than, let's look schmancy, which I don't know schmancy, and have fun doing it, but all of that takes work to prepare. All of that showy stuff has to be made. I would like to use the working toward that goal, not for the sake of the goal, but a way to get together and create a sense of camaraderie through the creation of it. And that's more important than the pomp. What do we achieve while we get there?
It should be both. It really should. You can have the pomp and pageantry. Doesn't mean you can't have fun at the same time. We should present ourselves as something special because Glaedenfeld is something special. It can be a lot of work, and obviously we're not going to ask anything of anybody that they're not willing to do. But I think that the more we put into it, the more we get out of it. And once the work's done, there's going to be fun, and we're going to see the results of that work. Sorry. Go ahead. But the camaraderie is a big thing. I mean, even doing the work, there should be the camaraderie there. And I think as the Baron and Baroness, we should try to lead by example to set the tone, whether it be, a situation that requires a lot of dignity and pomp and ceremony, or whether we want it to be fun and laid back. That's kind of up to the Baron and Baroness to kind of lead that a little bit.
I think one of the problems that we ran into after we became a Barony was that we achieved burnout status pretty quickly. Yeah. We'd done 3 events in a row. People were tired. The pomp and circumstance really we weren't ready for it. Some of the things that I would encourage, maybe fighting tablets. When we go to Fox's, why aren't we wearing baronial tablets to show, hey, we're from Glaedenfeld? Bell tokens to let everybody know, Glaedenfeld's here at your event. It doesn't have to be anything big. It'd be something we could work on at Sewing Circle. But that way pomp and circumstance, again, is relative. We can create our own by being visible at events. And I think that's what we're doing.
Being third just really stinks. But yes, we've talked a lot about that. It's again, raise it, Glaedenfeld up for recognition. But you can't take away the fun because the fun is really important about it. The stick is really important. But again, it doesn't have to take away from the pomp and circumstance situation. And still have fun with it, draw everybody in. We had talked a lot about, it's probably going to answer another question, but it's ways of not only just coming up with ideas, but let's find the leadership to pull those ideas into action and project planning and seeing it through and getting it done. Because I know this group comes up with wonderful ideas. And one of the ways we should fall short is just because life happens, things kind of trickle out and not get done because life happens. So that's one of the things that we work on is, let's get this barely moving again because we're really bad people.
The pump can be used pretty much in the way we were talking about bringing out the body of the shire or the variant. So bringing out, having a entourage, having a group of people, having that barony show up and be part of a group that is seen. It helps new people coming in, it gives them a place to be. We put people behind the thrones where that gives people something to do in ceremonies. That gives them more to be part of this group. And that brings out the body like we're wanting to focus.
And find a way to make it fun and not just work.
And Laura, shift answer order for a while.
Y'all want to do that?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
fun.
I think it'd be fair.
Just reverse it. Just reverse it. Okay, so we'll go 1, 2, 3 first.
So you go with that.
Why not? Let me read the question.
Oh, fine, read the question.
You should make up your own question.
No, that's what I'm afraid of.
I'm watching.
What do you like on your pizza? No.
Yes.
What are your strengths?
Pineapple is okay on pizza.
Oh, sorry.
What are your strengths and how do they improve or help the barony? What are your weaknesses and on what would you need help? Number 17.
Oh, wow. Mine goes to.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That's me.
Go ahead, babe.
Strengths, decisiveness, the ability to make decisions, the ability to balance out multiple facets of questions, of situations. Very little fear, Weakness, very little fear. Maybe a little bit too rough at times. Think that's
Yeah, I think the strengths and weaknesses of our United team, it will be probably trying to put too much on us, and not, share out some of the responsibilities and trying to overdo, but, and recognize that life happens and we're gonna have to step back a little bit.
in short, strength, weakness. About as simple as I can answer.
Okay. One of my strengths is my ability to multitask. I'm a classroom teacher. We have to do 500 things all at once within a 10-minute period. I do social. I'm the extrovert. If you didn't notice. to my happy introvert, my little Eeyore. And I get along with a wide variety of people. I think that's probably one of my strengths. I do know that I have a very strong personality.
Who would have thought it?
So, I think I can use that as a strength. Well, what are my weaknesses? I multitask. My strength can also be my weakness. I do have a hard time saying no. I really have got to learn to delegate better.
She's good at multitasking. I'm good at the opposite. If I'm set on something, I'm going to pay attention to it, and just that until it's right. It's got to be right. I tend to be meticulous. I look at things with, try to look at things with precision. I can also be fair, diplomatic, unbiased, seeing things from all sides. I really, that's a huge thing for me, is to see everybody's viewpoints. However, as far as weaknesses, yeah, I'm an introvert. Sorry. Dealing with social situations can be rough. I tend to lose energy really fast if I'm around a lot of people. So being socially on for long periods, that can be very exhausting, and I know I need help with that.
But we also complement each other's strengths and weaknesses.
So I can
Very well.
I can step back and throw her at people.
He does. He does.
Okay, so white busy and Corbin tend to balance each other very well, work very well in our marriage, thank heavens. I tend to be our organizer.
Yes.
I like being organized. The downside of that is I can tend to get caught up in that and obsess to the point where it's mentally unhealthy for me. He's not an organizer. He is enthusiastic. However, he can sit on it. Not literally.
I have.
Literally?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's very good at going, Arwen,
You need to stop.
pause.
Stop and think.
Yeah. Your personal strengths and weaknesses.
I bring a sense of approachability, I think. I like to talk to people, and as far as I can tell, most people I've met kind of like to talk to me. So I'm good at that. I'm good at talking to people, finding out who they are, what they're about.
He's our front man.
Yeah. What I am bad about is actually where she really helps to balance me is I am not an organized person. I lose things, I forget things, and I've already been discussing with Arlen what I can do to alleviate that.
How we can balance that.
Yeah, I'm going to carry a note with me.
A strength we feel that we have as a couple is we hope that we encourage and create around us a sense of community. We've tried to do that with things we do at our house, and when we host things, I certainly hope we've succeeded, and it's certainly something we hope to bring to the greater bear. Disadvantages to that? You got anything else?
No, I think we're good.
I'm sure we'll think of something as soon as we get the car.
Yes.
Since you've been stuck in the middle.
I don't mind being in the middle. It's a nice place to be.
It's all good.
All right, question number 16. What would you do to strengthen ties with our neighbors?
Sure.
Attendance. This goes back to what we were originally challenged with. Attending not just a group, but all the surrounding groups. Providing whatever we can to strengthen, get our officers to go to other groups' meetings, practices, demos, events, support the group to en masse go and help other groups. We've been contacted by other groups for individual things, rapier, heavy, archery. Keep it up. And just pick times when our officers can go and attend other meetings, when the Baronial presence can go attend other meetings, and just show up, do things. Say, hey, how you doing? What can we do to help? Be there. Take the welcome to them.
Keep instilling the regional atmosphere that we kind of started a long time ago. Just keep up with doing regional get-togethers, supporting our neighbors' events, making sure that we keep abreast of what they're doing and what their needs are. Because, honestly, a lot of them do need us to be at their events and for us to come and help them learn things. They have a lot of officer changeovers and things. We have a lot of knowledge base that they really need to pull from and learn, because we do have resources just from experience and all of our experience that they need. So we just need to be tuned in and aware of what's going on. We can help them.
Pretty much,
No, you're last.
we're last.
Okay.
Pretty much doing the same thing we've been doing for the last, I don't know how many years. Supporting their events, encouraging visiting practices and activities, volunteering to teach. Perhaps we need to start back the rotating practices again, where we have a regional practice at a different group once a month. But not just keep it at practice for rapier and for heavy, but let's encourage some A&S regional practices, so to speak. I mentioned this 4 years ago. I'd still kind of like to pursue it if we did get this opportunity for this job, is an outreach director. One person that's responsible for keeping in contact with other groups around us so that we've got that contact person that somebody can go to.
Honestly, bonds are formed between individuals. At the basic level, it's people to people. Interaction with people from other groups, building those friendships with people from other groups, which I think we've all done a good job of. But as the Baron and Baroness, you want to be approachable to those other groups also, to the individuals in those groups. You don't want to just be, well, it's just Glaedenfeld. No, it's not. It's everybody. We should be responsible for the groups around us too. But we have, for the longest time, she and I were, and still are really, the rapier marshals for
Middle
Middle
Tennessee.
Tennessee. I mean, we have constantly been running rapier for all the other groups around us for years. So that's something we would like to see continue for everybody.
Okay, now it is our turn. Yes, I lost track. Got excited. Ditto and ditto.
Yes.
Hey, we can feel that.
See?
To expound just a tiny bit, I like to do that. We talked a lot about you build connections between people. So as Corbin said. So as they said, you get out there. You have to have physical presence to support what the other groups are doing. We want to continue to build a sense of regional camaraderie. I love the word camaraderie. I'm really getting a lot of use out of it tonight. And we've done that, cycling regional practices that support more than fighting. Try to help other groups, Crimson River, Desiree, post similar things. We encourage the region to gather, the people within it. And we had also talked about, and Izzy touched on this, I had not thought of the idea of an outreach director. That's good. Stealing that. We get it? You let me it's a great idea. Something we had talked about is, like with the Canton South Bridge, we can talk a lot about what we're going to do, but what they want matters too. So one of the first things that we need to do with leadership is to open up active communication. We need to call them and say, hey, what do you need? What do you see from your end? This goes two ways, and we need to be very conscious of that. So outreach.
Number 3, are there any traditions or ideas that you want to continue? Any new traditions you want to start?
The one tradition that I want to keep for Glaedenfeld is the fact that we've always been walking. And I think that is a tradition I always want to keep, because the self-respect and friendships that are here need to stay. The fact that people always come and say, she's just the nicest people in Glaedenfeld. They always make me feel so welcome. It is one of those things that I think really needs to be instilled, and be good hosts and hostesses during our events. You know, people look forward to coming to our events because we are good hosts. We are very welcoming, and people are very good to our visitors.
Family. This group, from the start, I always felt that this group was one that listened to each other, respected each other, and talked about the real things, and not just letter of something or a pretty hat or a award or whatever, but listened to each other and did things to make each other better. Those are definitely things to carry on. The respect that Griff and Steph have brought to the Baronial coordinates, carry that on. And the new ones is getting the group to show more of itself, to be seen more as a group, to be seen more as a barony, as something to be part of, and to bring your talents out, to bring your abilities out, and share that there.
Sorry. Okay. Just the general things that they talked about, obviously, those we do want to see and continue. As far as specific things, I think each sitting baron, baroness are going to add unique traditions. Some of them will stick and some of them won't, and that's okay. But the identity that arises from that, I think, is going to be a very organic thing, that as long as we maintain the presence and the dignity in a community of Glaedenfeld, I think the specific traditions can be negotiable. You know? We would like to see that, continue some of the traditions, just the specific traditions like baronial champions for the martial activities and the non-martial activities too. To see people step up and be part of entourage, and just, really have a good time with being part of the baronial presence. Because that's what we have a baron and baroness for, is for that kind of thing.
One of the things that we talked about doing is encouraging more local activities, not just potlucks. Maybe things like baronial 12th night, where it's just something for us as a barony to get together and be, have fun, play Dirty Santa, who knows what. Maybe something like a Baroness's Fete, where it's a ladies' night. And it's just a ladies' night. And maybe we could have, I don't know, we could call it a Baron's Kegger.
I'll bring that.
But again, one of these things where we can encourage and give everybody an opportunity to get together as an individual barony and strengthen ourselves. raw strength comes up.
So we went straight to some of the traditions that have kind of grown organically. One of them that we really enjoy is the passing the cup around for the recipients of the Athene Noctua Award. Yeah. As for starting any new traditions, what really the best traditions tend to start organically. I mean, they just kind of pick up on their own and go and do it. And we don't want to try and force anything because you can't force a tradition. But we will encourage any healthy ones that arise. We want any new traditions to be things that help the group as a whole, that encourage people, and bring positive attention to the barony. Yeah, go ahead.
Sort of pick it up.
Yeah, go for it.
I think the things that we're really going to continue, of course, the Captain the Champions. Those are things that are very baronial things to do. But as Steve Horton said, and as he said, we want to maintain a sense of camaraderie, like he said. And we would like traditions, we would like to look for opportunities, openings for traditions to naturally form out of that community and sense of family that we are building. So we see what happens, people get around, we talk, we have the Baroness's wine night.
Shtick turns into tradition.
We
turns
start
into-
talking, someone has an idea, we all giggle madly, we throw things at the wall, we see what works for us. What sticks? Hey, I can bangle a saying, it's fun.
No, you can't read it. But you read it.
Read it, I just have to hold it really close. Are you ready, lady?
This is number 10. What do you think is the most important idea or attitude that you can encourage in the barony?
Oh, I better answer this. This self-respect, and respect for everybody. This is really important. Recognizing that each of us have an interest in the SCA because this is either a hobby, or it's a lifestyle, or it's something I like to do once in a while. But what's really important is to respect each other's ideas about what we do in this society, and to embrace it, enjoy it, welcome people, and that to me is the most important.
The happiness and family that we're creating. Just keep it up.
Yeah, we're very short into people.
That's okay.
Group pride is a big one. We are Glaedenfeld, and solidarity with the barony community, camaraderie, that's a good one. Just the idea that yes, we're individuals, but we come together for a common goal, a common purpose. And I really don't want to see factions popping up that are going to cause fractures within the barony itself. Factions are bad. We are Glaedenfeld, all of us, every single one of us. So it's just really important to me to see that we are a community that doesn't fall apart into cliques and factions, and we take pride in the fact that we do have that solidarity as a group.
2 words. First one is together. We make Glaedenfeld together. It's not a baron and baroness that's Glaedenfeld. It is its people. Together we make a strong baron. The second word, meridian. Yes, we are Glaedenfeld, but we are part of something greater. We are part we help grow that kingdom by being the best barony and example that we can be. We are believers.
So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, right.
Oh, busy. Awesome.
So, ditto.
Go big or go home.
Right. So one of the things that we really want to encourage in the barony is for everyone to be as excited about what other people are doing as you are about what yourself are doing. We have amazing artisans, we have amazing craftspeople, we have amazing fighters, we have dancers, we have seamstresses, we have people who do amazing things. And we want to build a supportive community that encourages people to do their thing and to have fun and to just take joy and pleasure in what other people are doing. And that requires people stepping out of their own comfort zones to support that amazing talent and all those amazing, wonderful skill sets that we have in the barony.
The barony is a community. Part of being a community is being excited about all the things that go on in that community, even especially perhaps the things you don't do and the work of others. We'd love to encourage more working on that. And you know, as you said, there's a bit of a hierarchy. All the individuals support the others, which supports the community, which builds Glaedenfeld, which builds Meridiers, which builds the SCA.
You have to go step by.
Hey, why not? But that starts individual to individual, looking around and going, "Ooh, that's cool." It's become a real thing with me. Oh, I want to encourage an environment where each of us always works outside myself.
All right, gentlemen. We still got a few more minutes. So let's go to number 2. What goals, agendas, or programs do you wish to promote? If so, what are they?
One of the things that we would really like to do, and we talked about it, even just all 6 of us talk about, and of course, and with stuff as well, is instilling more of the status of the Baron and Baroness, bringing in more of the pomp, but also the pulling in the, how you know, we talked about bringing the Baron out and recognizing members of the barony within their kingdom. And, you know, one of the things we had talked about is creating a position of a person who would basically be project manager for all these great ideas, somebody who would take on that leadership role and get things organized and moving. And, you know, ideas are there. Let's build a plan. Let's put together what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, materials we need. Boom. Let's pick a date. These are the people who are going to do it. This is the time we're going to do it. That kind of thing. So, you know, we have that idea in mind of getting a project leader kind of going, a couple of those kind of community kind of things going. There's a strong and definite path of getting things done.
Baronial map time.
And
A set time at events where there's just a big place where everybody can take a nap.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like it.
We stole that from somebody
Did we?
else. Oh, we thought of that. Strength, weakness.
One of the things I've already brought up was reaching out to local universities. That's something that we should look at. One of the things that I want to do if we do get the opportunity to do this, it doesn't really matter what agenda I come up with. Or tell you what agenda he comes up with. I don't know. But I want to sit down with each of you and ask you what you think Glaedenfeld needs to do. We can do it as a group. We can go out to eat for dinner. We could just sit down at the end of a fire practice and shoot the breeze. I want to know what you think this barony needs to be. What ideas do you have? You could do it in a form of a curia for ANS women. But what I want to know is what do you expect from the barony? And where do you want Glaedenfeld to be in 10 years? And what do we need to do to achieve those goals?
Well, aside from the taking over the known world thing, I don't really have a specific agenda per se, but I would want to see us build the community. But what I would like to see is when we show up somewhere that people look at us and go, wow, that's Glaedenfeld. That they just immediately know because we just are that amazing as a presence, as a barony, that we take that much pride in our barony that we show up and people just know that, hey, that's Glaedenfeld, and they're awesome. Instilling a sense of belonging, making it so that people want to identify themselves as, hey, I'm from Glaedenfeld. We want people to definitely. It's all good.
So this is the kind of question that's easy to answer when something's wrong. Because you have something to aim at. You've got something to fix. This is an essentially healthy group, so that makes it harder for us to answer. Thank you. That's awesome. Steph and Rick have laid firm foundations, which is awesome. They gave us a taste of what it's like to be a barony. They got things off the ground. They got us moving. They've got all the pieces in place for us to build on. Anybody who follows them is different. So we want to build on that foundation. We want to take those pieces and make sure, since some of them are scattered, because they've got to be put in place fast. Make sure everything is working as one cohesive whole so we can build the community and continue to instill a sense of community and do more of what we're already doing. Build the pump off of that. Things that you continue the path of a healthy barony. Build the community, build the groups around you, have a presence, be more visible. And all of that comes out of the community and the foundation that is already laid. We just need to continue that.
You got it.
Oh, cool, yay.
Question 8.5.
Oh, yeah, that was that one I didn't tell any of you all about.
Ooh, that'll be the fun one.
Step 3, profit.
Number 13. What do you think are the best ways to attract positive attention and retention for the SCA? Okay. Yeah.
I think we've pretty well, we're getting to that point where we're starting to answer questions with previous questions. Make it fun. Make it fun. Show the fun that we've been introduced to. Make it a happy place. Build it and let people show up.
I'd say a lot of it also is instilling a sense of, I think generally, we are all in solidarity. Us, we may have some differences here and there, but for the most part, I think all of us have recognized that keeping a positive note or a positive an uplifting spirit, especially when we go visit other places and talk to other people. And, there's, I think, as peers, a lot of us have recognized lately there's been a lot of negative talk, and a lot of Facebook talk. A lot of bad things have been brought up. And, it's funny how oftentimes I hear, people say, well, what's going on? What's going on? sometimes we kind of forget that there's a lot of folks out there who don't really focus on what's going on because their idea of the game is what we all originally came into this for, and that is to have fun, live the dream, and recognize that there's a lifestyle or a thought of chivalry, honor, courtesy, that we all were drawn into this game about. And that's something that we, as barons, anybody as baron and baroness, start to instill that, and hopefully live by example, as best we can, because we're human, we still make mistakes. But that's, basically that's how you drive that positive energy, is by keeping it fun and sharing it with the by example.
Okay, so earlier I said I would expand on something, that I said live the dream. Well, now's my opportunity to do that. There's kind of an internal and external aspect to this. Internally, just be the person, be the person that you wanted to see in the SCA when you started, like I said before. Just always try to act with the core values of the SCA in mind. The chivalry, the honor, the respect, the courtesy, exemplify those in all of your interactions with another Scadian in person, with a mundane in person at a demo, online. Just be that person. Externally, take pride in everything. You want to look the part. You want to look like somebody that people are going to look at and think, I want to do that, or I want to look like that, or I want to dress like that, or I want to fight like that. In your projects, your research, your fighting, your presentation, whatever. Just strive for excellence, because excellence attracts excellence, and that's what we want.
You want to bring positive attention, be positive in every aspect. It's just that excellence brings excellence. How do you bring retention? You make it fun. You want to hold a sword for the very first time you're coming out, I'll enable that. You need your sword. You want to shoot like Robin Hood? Let's put a bow in your hand. You want to fight like King Arthur? Come here, let me give you a sword. Make it fun.
So, a lot of ditto. Positive attention, as you said, you get positive attention because what you're doing is positive. So whoever, not just in the SCA, not just at demos, not just all the time, try to be the best person that you can be. Always strive for improvement. We're all human. We also want to be better. And meeting a group of people who treat you with courtesy and honor, who tries to act in a possible way as possible, is very inspiring. So be that group to inspire those who need those who choose to join us. Then we come into the retention question. Continue to act that way, because it doesn't mean much if it's all show and you get in and we're all a bunch of catty, mean people. Words that I'd say in front of my son. Retention, same thing. You help them along. And we can talk about how to more punctually make sure get people connected with our baronial communications and all of that. But the root of it is you make sure then that anyone new is not forgotten. You bring them in, you connect them with the things you want to try. You give them encouragement. You give them a reason to stay and a community that makes them want to stay.
And there are other communities out there with similar activities to ours. Amtgard, Daddy here, several of them. And they do. And we could show them, maybe convince some of them to come to our events. Maybe we could go to some of their events and talk to them about what we do and how we're a little different than what they do. And see, hey, can we get some of them? Come to us.
All right, and since we are almost out of time, last but not least, William.
There you go.
This is number 20. 4 years is a long time. If you feel that you are not performing well, would you step down before the end of your term?
That's, that one's a discussion we talked a lot about. I mean, 4 years is a long time, and as adults, I think that he and I recognize that, that just like with anything, if you recognize that there is some situation of life is happening and you're unable to fulfill your obligations, start asking for help. Start reaching out and talk to people. We are, both of us, very prepared to be in for the long run. If there's any reason that we can't fulfill the obligation, or if the parent feels like we're not fulfilling the obligation, that's the time that communication comes in. It's really important to address it head on and do what we need to do to make it right for them.
Ownership, being healthy Baron and Baroness would be to try to address those things before it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
If things happen, life happens, that does put us to that point. Maturity insists that we do the just thing. Just and mature is the same answer as to a lot of this.
Bottom line, the Barony comes first. My ego doesn't figure into that, honestly. If we and the Barony felt that it was the best thing for us to step down, then absolutely. I'm not going to cling to something that's harmful, that's going to cause dissension and malice, and I'm not going to do that. It would be a decision that we would make together and that we would make with everybody else in the Barony. It's for the Barony.
Recognition that we were in trouble, making sure that we have people around us to put some corrective measures in place. But ultimately, the health of the Barony comes first and foremost. If our stand on the baronial seat is going to create issues, then we've got to put the health of the Barony first.
I think that was Thank you. We have lived in Glaedenfeld a long time. This wasn't scripted by me. Yeah, I'll try. This has been my home for almost 20 years. I've been in this group for almost 20 years, actively doing the things in the Barony. I am not going to harm this Barony, period. It means too much to me, and this is a family to me, and I'm causing division, causing chaos, causing dissension. There's no way I would do that. I'm sorry. I would step down first. So.
I'm going to try to talk quick, because William says he wants to say step 2.
Let's see.
We read this question a little bit differently. It read to us as, if you feel you're doing a good job, a poor job, if you hit a wall, you're going to cut and run, is how we read it. The reality is, everybody at one point is going to struggle, possibly at more than one point, likely, with this job and have doubts. And if every time you have a doubt, you're going to cut and run, and nobody ever going to be sitting up with you, ever. No, we would not casually cut and run. There are reasons to step down, but it is a very serious step to take because it creates an emotional fallout with the entire family. If we were seriously concerned that we were doing harm, step 1 is to sit down and have some consultations with people we trust, who have leadership experience, and say, do we perceive, are we creating problems? If so, what then? Can we address and try and fix them first? If we were actually causing harm, yes, we would consider stepping down, but it would never be a capital decision. Other things that might open up that conversation would be unforeseen life circumstances. someone gets cancer, car wreck, William's dying. Those are things that would make us consider, please God, no. But it's a very serious step and it's one that we take seriously. But if it is necessary not to harm this barony, as they said, then we do it. But it would never be a natural thing. It's a huge decision we know how to follow.
Covered it all in 55 seconds.
Did I cover what you wanted to say?
Yep.
Oh, good, okay.
It's all good.
Okay, that is our official time. There are 3 questions left. If folks want to stay on, we could probably go ahead and finish them. If folks feel like they've heard what they need to hear. So I see some belly rubbing over here. Maybe there's some dinner plans. All we really need to do at this point is take the extra chairs back to the fellowship hall and put the room back the way it was. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to Peter and Master Alexander for helping us get this all working. Goodbye, Meridian! I got no problem with that. You guys are
Goodbye, Maria, sorry.
I just wanted to say, it's great barony, and you have 3 awesome options up here. Can't go wrong. We will be honored if it's us. We will support whoever it ends up being. And if it's not us, heaven knows we've never had a problem keeping ourselves busy. Please, if you have anything that you would like to speak with us about or anything you'd like clarified, please feel free to approach either of us at any time.
Yep.
That's what I got.
And I'll just say that there are 4 other great people up here, whatever you think of us. There are 4 really great people up here. And whoever gets this position, she and I are going to be right behind them, helping them the best that we can. Yeah.
I love you.
Sorry.
You're so tired.
Thank you, everyone, for first of all nominating us. We feel very honored and privileged to be sitting up here with these 5 folks. We fully intend to support whoever gets chosen, and we do have some plans in play that we will share if we do not get nominated or do not get the honor of being here next year. Yes, we do plan to get with whoever was chosen and talk about our plans and maybe even be part of that leadership to help them with whatever plans they have and with their needs well. Again, thank you for feel honored.
Thank you, and the barony's not going to get shortchanged. Any of the ideas that was brought up by any of the couples up here, everyone here is leaders of the group. Everyone here tries to help the group and make it a better place. None of the stuff that anyone suggested is going to go to the wayside. It's all stuff that's going to be done no matter who you vote for. Whoever you put on the seats will do the job for you, and you are safe with whoever you pick.
Lots of ditto. Sorry, we're going last.
Just remember, he wants to do the food.
It's got its
First
privileges.
in the world, then yours.
Thank you, guys. It is definitely an honor to be nominated. It would be an honor to represent Glaedenfeld. Glaedenfeld's a great group, and I think whoever ends up on the Baronial seat is going to do a good job and have a lot of support from everybody. We certainly are going to support whoever gets it if we don't. Obviously we want to represent you guys. We would do so with as much dignity and fun and fabulous facial hair as we could.
Yes, I'm gonna work on it.
Yeah.
As we were talking to some people this weekend, because we had lots of people from different neighboring groups, who was in the running for the Baron and Baroness. They said, wow, Barony's in good hands.
Mm-hmm.
They've said it, both of them have said, I can't reiterate it. No matter who you pick, everybody that's up here will be supporting them.
And the other good couples will probably be here next 4 years.
We're still gonna push that time.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
I'm down with that time.
After lunch till about 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I think we're done.
I think we're done.
We're done. Already covered the thank yous and the whatnot, so not gonna shut it down.
Good night, Maria.
Hey, so
We made it this
you and you all need to be thinking about an investiture fee.